Hey, folks, what's up? A very special episode today. I actually have this guy. I've actually met him quite some time ago, and we've been running the streets of New York just a little bit since. But I'm actually let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Jeremia Kuhepa Kaambo. Was actually born in the German Southwest Africa, today known as Namibia. And I represent all the marginalized minorities. Those are oppressed, repressed, um, and we are at the moment trying to emancipate ourselves and free ourselves from the present regime.
Okay. I read that you were actually trying to free yourself. And I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry. There was something else that was, but you're actually running for president of Namibia. Am I correct?
Yes, I am running for presidential candidate as independent candidate in Namibia.
That's
Um,
quite interesting. All right. Have you ever had like any office before, or what's your
uh, Not really, but I have been in activism for a while, and I have seen our issues that most of the people that are running for candidates, they are more. I don't see them as understanding the main root cause of the problem and understanding the international politics very clear, where we're coming from or the history of our country and where we're going. It look like we need people, we need a candidate that understand, I mean, everything. Because one of the things that I've seen, many people hate America and say America is bad, but we tend to forget. If you look into America itself, there are good people and there are bad people. They are evil and bad. So you need to differentiate that, and for those people on the ground to understand that it's when you hear about America, it's not every or when things or let's say those people that are exploiting our resources back home, it's not the whole Americans that are doing all that. It's like a cartel. It's a group or globalists that have been doing these things. So now they try to uh, think like it's all the American population.
okay? Now the
Mm.
thing is that just coming from my own background, being
Mhm.
Korean American myself, that's actually one of the ways that we've kind of like gotten to know each other, right, in our struggle to get our issues addressed, as
Mhm.
as our countries are often overlooked. But one of the things that we know that have you heard of some kind of group called AFRICOM?
Africa.
AFRICOM, right? The thing is that the CIA actually, I believe, does some type of like destabilization. They also work with like they do some aid to some countries, but sometimes there's other things going on. Um, what other is there any type of you know? I think there's definitely like manipulation of what's going on within Korean government from the U.S. Forces and
Um,
stuff. What about in Namibia? Is there some
we
interference or stuff going on? Yeah, pressures.
yes, the Namibian itself, since it has been 140 years right now that we are not free and we have never been free. Um, we I simply we are under state captured. We cannot run and control our own government. Uh, all of those people that are leading us, they are very, we call them, I can say they are just tools. They are people that have been used and have been used for years or groomed for years in order for them to be running us for the past 34 years. Prior to that, we had an apartheid regime and all the other regime that we had. Um, and this many we lost all of our true people or we lost many of our true patriots, people that could reason, or those that were all intelligent, or all of those scholars, they were all killed through the struggle. And all of those, the rest that are left, are those that never went back home when we have that fake independence that we have at the moment. As we have one party state that's been there for 34 years right now. So we have people such as Andon Luboski, Clemens Kapoor, and the list can be also endless. Many of them were all assassinated, and that goes with Dag Hamashkov and many others by the same group of individuals in order for them to install their puppets to control our governments or to control us. So we lost very prominent Namibian people. So it's been a very long struggle up to present that we are really going through a lot, and we are not yet free up to now.
Okay. I know portions of West Africa had like French settlement. I know also Namibia has a history with Germany being the actually place for the genocide of the Second Reich, which is actually unfortunately not discussed or remembered. But what countries were really kind of like manipulating or are still manipulating Namibian politics? Would it be Germany, France, US, maybe all together, United Nations? Who's doing it?
What I think we've been the most. I think that we in Namibian itself we have certain key key beneficiary of Namibian wealth, whereby we have individuals, to name just a few, such as Oppenheimer in South Africa, and the Oppenheimer family, like Nicholas Oppenheimer, and
is this the same Oppenheimer that did the bomb thing? Is this the same?
Yeah, he's linked. Yes, he's the one that controlled the beers and Anglo-Americans with Rothschilds and the JP Morgan Bank and Maurice Stapleton here in New York, and many others. Those are direct financial beneficiary of Namibian wealth. So those people are linked to all of those different exploitation or neocolonialism of our country. And they are also, all of them also linked to all of exploitation of other resources in southern part of Africa too, especially in the southern part, like country like Zaire, today known as Congo, and many others, in South Africa too.
You know, I actually spent during the Trump presidency. I wasn't actually in the United States. I was actually. Let me see if I can adjust this for a second. I was in the United States. I was actually in a place called Grenada, and if you know Grenada, they actually had their government overthrown after the U.S. got involved with supposedly the only peaceful socialist revolution in the Western Hemisphere, or maybe in the world, supposedly. But there was the thing is that in Grenada, right? I just saw that there was a lot of Chinese interaction. They actually built the stadium. They had like some ships that were coming in and doing some building of ports and stuff like that. I do hear some stuff about China getting involved in Africa with a kind of like a new colonialism type of thing. Have you seen any of that? I only saw in Grenada. What did you see in Namibia? What do you know about it?
I think there is a CCP that is mushrooming all over Africa, and these people have been used more for exploitation of resources, or what we call, for they are very easy to be corrupted, and so Um, and the other way how they use them in corruption, in terms of any, it's very easy to use them for any sort of a business, because they don't build anything with a very good quality. So they will take a building or a house of wealth, 2 millions or contract, and then they will build a house of 1 million, and then they share the other million among themselves. That's
Okay, so that,
so.
yeah, that makes sense. So if we have like on one hand, right, the Oppenheimers, right, yeah, and this Western kind of, you know, taking, as terms like trying to manipulate what's going on in Africa, and then you also have
Mhm.
China doing it at the same time. Is there one that's winning, or are they winning in different ways when they're competing against each other? Right, like who's like got more control?
Um, what I think these are just bunch of crooks or cartels that are all been secretly working together and fooling us all, like they pretend not to be together and work together. They are corrupting this world, uh, um, like they are cahoot with all these different groups. What they just fool us, like they differ in ideologies, like such as communism, whatever different other capitalism and that. But in terms of other things, they do have and what you call it, like treaties where they have an agreement. So when you look in terms of one of example, if you really want to see how they committed a lot of crimes, or how they played their gimmick games in Angola, there is a lot of atrocity that was committed there. So such a country like Russia, all of these countries were in there in Angola. And when they all never even help to take up with any lawyers that were to investigate or file a lawsuit against the same organization that committed these crimes, and it's worse crimes that were committed. How on earth with with an organization that have murdered their own people in Dodges, and they have killed their own people and then taken children from their own mother and as use them as their own propaganda issues, and at the end of the day nothing have happened to them.
Yeah,
These people are free, are the one that is controlling the government, and we sit down and think thieves can police themselves, and that's what has been happening, and that's why you see a famous city in the world. It's a famous corrupt city. It's not. It's because the city is being run by thieves.
I do feel that there is some competition between these forces, but I do also agree that there's an aristocracy that will only like acknowledge other people with power or other rich people, right? And they really shut us out. So there is some solidarity that they have against us, right? Yeah, in some ways they're also competing against each other, but I do agree that we're basically on the outside, right, looking in. So hopefully we can get our own power. Yeah, we're going to see what's up with that. So interesting. All right. So when we take a look at also, right, I talked about Africa's relationship with the United States, right, or maybe the globalists, right, the Western globalists and China. What about Namibia's relationship with other local African countries? Are they things going good, things going bad? How are things going there? I really don't know. I'm sorry to say.
Um, Relationship wise, I haven't been there for a while, and I don't see any problems, because when they call it in English, bird with the same feather flows together, so they are all doing the same gimme games, and they are all
Yeah.
playing the tune of the music they all want to hear, so they will always be together and do all everything together.
Yeah, they do a
and
lot
and,
of work
and
to like kind of like aim us at each other though, right? Like I think that there was like I think in South Africa they actually had right some kind of war between the two different black ethnicities there because they had
no,
some of them had
the
been
problem,
colonized. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I think, two
Some of them
things.
have been brainwashed to thinking that they were better than the other black people because they were accepted by the whites. You know what I'm talking about?
No, or you mean the xenophobian things in South Africa? This tension is also created by our own people, because when your mind is enslaved, and even we tend not to understand that. One thing that I don't agree with my fellow other Africans, we need to understand that those whites that have lived with us more than 100 years, whatever happened in the past happened. As in Namibia, we our ancestor, and I still go with my some of our great chiefs that uh, passed away. They say that all we want is to be treated equally, and be able to live together in peace and harmony. And in the as we know and understand that our countries are diverse, and has diverse society, so we don't uh, matter whether color, religion, or creed whatsoever does not matter to us. um, we need each other, and we have to be able to live with each other. So the hatred is just created by the mind enslavement, and it's when you put people that um, don't understand the past history, and also they don't have humanity in themselves, be able to understand um, that each and every human being, it's important. And those that are there in South Africa or in Namibia or everywhere, we should welcome them.
Sure.
Just like when we are here in America or wherever we go, you want these people to welcome you, and when you are there, you don't want to welcome the others. So I think that's just a mindset of certain group of individuals that have hatred in themselves. Um, we don't say that we forget the crime or the atrocity that was committed, that some of our uh, uh, um, leaders all over Africa are demanding, such as reparation, and all our different community are want to be reparated uh, because of the past crimes. That's something else. But when it comes to being able to live together and in equal society, we should respect each and every race, and be able to live together and put all our differences aside, and
Okay.
work as one.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Now, one thing that's also going on recently is that I think France just dissolved its national parliament. That was interesting. I heard that actually France might be actually involved in saying World War III might start because of some type of France's ties to West Africa. Have you heard anything like that?
Um, I think I heard about it, but
Okay. and so
France
maybe history with
itself,
Germany or whatever. Yeah,
no,
go
no,
ahead.
it's all about resources. I mean, well, and like I said, sometimes when you have leaders that don't understand or that don't, um, we are making a lot of mistakes. Like a lot of our African leaders think um, uh, communist countries today, like the Chinese and the Russians, are the best ones than America and other countries. So they think uh, Russia will just, they don't want any resources at all and they don't want to do anything. But there is no country that is going to help you in with any revolution for nothing. So each and every country, somewhere, somehow, they want to benefit from the resources in a certain way, and that's what they will do. It's like so I always believe I rather keep the enemy I know than start a new one. I rather, and I'm not a very good favoritism of communist regimes. So communist is fascist, and it moved to dictatorships. So I go with those that say most of the things that happen in most of African countries, also what you call divide and conquer, whereby we have cultural revolution all over Africa and up to here in America, that is also being cooked to be able to divide different tribes, especially the black and whites and all the Asians, so that we all cannot be able to sit at one table, and also to be able to share information and to strengthen our backbones and be able to concentrate on a very important issue, how we can move forward and be able to develop our different countries and
Okay.
eradicate poverty among ourselves. But those tension that is coming between from country like you talk about, like France is something that is just coming out of
Well, you think France? Like I heard that France might be attacking.
old colonialism. I think so, because France was also colonizing a lot of countries that were colonized by France. They are all pulling out of France, so they are cutting that. But I think it's just a tactic that is happening just to fool other people. Like, so these people are coming out of France and going to Russia. There is no difference.
I understand.
So
Okay.
unless if they could say they have their own revolution from the grassroots level, and they just maybe get funding from people, from just normal people, and help themselves and cut all of the other people, and be able to run their own company and own everything. So as long as they are still using engineers from any other world, there is no difference.
Are there any like look? We all know about NATO, things like that, right? Are there any like treaties amongst like the African countries? Like if France goes and attacks like Namibia, maybe other African countries going to help out or something? I don't know. Is there anything to deter an attack?
You see, when you talk in terms of treaties, even if there are treaties that are there, it's just to fool the people.
Mm.
So when you look into that, we Namibian ourselves, we have clear cases that we know that there is a lot of violation of human rights, and there was an agreement that was there between the League of Nations, starting from the Treaty of Versailles, the atrocities that was committed by the Germans. and then plus those atrocities that was committed by the between the transition of Namibian independence. And nothing have UN and the ICC and all of these people are obligated to investigate these crimes, and they haven't even investigated any of these crimes. How on earth would an UN building will be bombed in a capital city of Windhoek or anywhere, and you don't investigate, or people have been killed by the same organization, and then
why
you
would
take
they
that
investigate
organization.
themselves?
Yeah, you take that organization and you make it as a sole representative of the country without the consent of the Namibian themselves. And then you take the even the constitution that we have. It's not something that fit the Namibian. We don't know where it came from. Somebody else wrote that constitution and enforced it to us. So it's something that is not been working, because we need to be able to have a conventional constitutional convention, so that we will be able to choose our own to write our own constitution, that will do it from grassroots level, whereby each and every Namibian will take part of it and be able to so that we can have clear something that will each and every person or each and every tribe will be accommodating into that constitution, or their customary law, it will be respected too. At the moment, and that through that, that's where you will be able to introduce government such as federal government, and through federal government is when you look into those things. Even in Namibia, we have clear autonomous states, whereby you can see this area belong to a certain tribe or group, whereby they speak their own language. Why if we say we have freedom and democracy, and we have liberated ourselves, but meanwhile some people are not free in the country? We are being oppressed by a certain one tribe, whereby one of the day there will be the tension of war is getting high, whereby each and every Namibian is waiting to revolt, or they are fuming to have a civil war because of those so-called treaties and agreement that are fake, and those organizations that are there, they are not there to represent us in anything at all, or they don't represent us as they say. They are not.
Yeah, one of the treaties that's so bad to cause the people to go into possible civil war. Maybe it's just a very predatory treaty or something. What are they so unhappy about?
What do you say again?
Okay, can you give me an example of what kind of treaty it was, right? Yeah, that made the people so unhappy to possibly go into civil war.
Or any treaties. Example, it's that happened in as a League of Nations in 19 the failure of League of Nations.
Okay.
So that was one of it that may cause the second World War, because they put policies that they never followed themselves.
Okay, you mean
and some of them that they did that also. All they did when after United Nations League of Nations, United Nations was formed, and then same policies that were also have been violated, and United Nations have never helped anything. What happened recently in Rwanda, where people had atrocity there, genocide. So what did the United Nations do? Meanwhile, we have these so-called all of these treaties. So
Yeah.
treaties are there just to fool us, and they are there just to protect the superpower themselves.
Yeah,
No,
there's no
I don't
consistency. You're
want to
right.
say the
Yeah.
superpower, because these are just individual people that are committing these crimes. And if I say, like, I don't want to even say it's America, because it's not whole America that are involved in these issues. It's a group of individuals that are doing what they want to do. But I sit down and say, okay, if that's the case, so why can't they just give us one country, and we run ourselves and we control ourselves with what we want? Because
I agree.
they have already
Let's talk about that for a moment. So the thing is that
yeah.
right, one of your ideas is to actually work with the resources, right? And if we look at the like Venezuela, one thing is that's often said is that Venezuela has a lot of oil, but they don't refine their own oil. So they value, right? That they could get. That's one explanation that's given for Venezuela. Do you have a certain plan to bring the resources back under control somehow, or to go ahead?
Yes, um, that's one of a very great plans that I really would like to be able to educate our own people, to have our own engineers, and to be able to have our own industries, whereby we can build our all whereby we will build everything and do I mean ourselves, instead of just not getting cars from buying anything from any other country, but we should be able to build our own. We should be able to have our own factory in all terms. So to that's one thing that we should that I'm thinking of. So whereby you have a very good fair market, and be able to involve each and every Namibian to be able to feel free and be feel welcome, and be able to run his own business for himself, and be able to develop the country ourselves. And then when 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 we start building our own cities with our own people, with our own engineers, with our own things, that's something very great. But we also need skills workers from other countries. So sometimes we tend to um, that's why you see a lot of African countries don't want to develop. We don't have a very good development, because if you want a great development, you need to bring the right people also in your country, and to make sure, like, you have a program whereby maybe for the next 4 5 years or 10 years, you will educate your youth and your nation in many different type of sectors, so that they will be able to run their own industry, and develop everything in Namibian ways.
That's cool.
That's what I
I
think.
think your election happens in October or November, correct?
November, yeah.
That's pretty soon, yeah. Are you going back to campaign a little bit, or what's going on with that?
Um, I don't think I will go there and campaign anything there. Back home, what I will try my best to do, all I can do is just to remain here and raise some funds and send it to my people that are on ground. Then they can try to campaign for me, and if I have to record anything that I can record, in case, just do some interview and send it to the people, and let the people either denounce what I say or glorify it.
Okay. What do you think is the most pressing issue for Namibia? Like, what's the first thing you would do if you got into office?
The most important worst thing of Namibia, that is pressing issue is tribalism. That is really the division, divide and conquer that been happening over there. And the only issue that federalism government is the only solution for that, whereby if you introduce that and be able to make sure that the minority groups their right will also be respected, no matter if you are majority, and those that are minority actually is, like I said before, they all have their own autonomous states, so they should uh, uh, have their own states and be able to control their own state there, and then also respect all on the other minority groups states, and we
Sure.
all can live in peace and harmony. And once you make each and every body to respect each other, and you introduce the federal system of government, and then decentralization will happen, and then
Sure. I have to ask. It seems a little bit strange, right? Yeah. Why wouldn't you
Mhm.
go back to your country to at least campaign? I mean, your presence there would probably make a big difference. At least one campaign stop, maybe minimum. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's just very expensive. But what is really the for
uh,
the president? It just seems like
um,
yeah.
the people that are there themselves on that are controlling the country, many
It's
of our people
dangerous.
have
Is it
died. Like
dangerous?
I told you, like I said, up to now, each and every year or once a month, or I can't count the time, but we are losing one of our true patriots that are being killed by the same government. When you take um, people that have commit crimes and you give them a country to run, they would not police themselves. So when the top is bad, everything under will going to be bad. So I rather fight my whatever I'm trying from here, and whatever happened. But all we want is freedom, and
How often is
maybe
the
I will continue. I will also continue with the lawsuit against the United Nations, so that they will be the betrayal of Namibian independence and transition by the international communities and the United Nations itself. They have to be able to answer that. Maybe I recommend that before any election, we should the international communities and the United Nations, BRICS, and all of these, we should sit down at the table and have a convention whereby we talk about the way forward about Namibia. We
yeah.
need to agree upon, because United Nations and all of these international communities, they are the one that gave us that corrupts system of Swapo Party. So they should go and take it out themselves.
How often are elections held in Namibia for president?
Um,
Once every 2 years,
it,
3 years, 4 years?
once every 4 years, anyway.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right.
Once
And
every 5 years, 5 years, I reckon.
okay. How can people find out more about your campaign? Maybe support you. Right? Do you have a? How can people find out more?
Um, at the moment, I have my maybe on my phone number they can do that, or on my email also.
Okay.
But you mean I have not yet I don't
create
have
a
any
Facebook
other
site, right?
link yet
Yeah.
on on any networks yet at the moment, but I'm working on that. Maybe within a week or two I should be able to be connected, or them to read anything on any
Platform.
networks or anything.
Yeah, yeah. When I was in Grenada, actually the Facebook was pretty big, right? It was almost the internet for a lot of folks. The internet was Facebook. So, not saying that I'm promoting Facebook or anything like that, but there's also no cost to really make a website. So, maybe you could make a campaign website for yourself there easily with no cost. But all right, cool. I've just been honored to work alongside you. I know you've been present at a lot of events, and thank you for helping me to call out the hypocrisy in the progressive left. And together, we're still trying to get our issues addressed. So it's been very cool working with you.
Mm-hmm. And I can maybe just give my number, maybe for anybody that want to contact me on that.
Go ahead.
So yeah, my number is 914-282-5237. Email is J, the first letter of my first name, Jeremia, and then Kuhepa, KUHEPA @gmail.com.
Yeah, I'll make that in the comments. I'll pin that at the top, so your email address. Yeah,
Yeah,
contact you. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think that's just I want to just have a way to introduce you to my audience, and I'm sure we're going to be doing a lot of work in the future. We've been doing work for quite some time. So, anything else you want to mention before I end the interview?
The only thing that I can say is just thanks to you also, and to everybody, and let's keep up fighting for the right cause, and never give up until we are free. And that's all I can state at the moment.
There's a lot of other storylines going on here, folks. We're going to be talking probably more later on about his suit against the United Nations. Cynthia McCain might get involved, maybe not, but she might. We're going to see. There's other things that we got cooking up over here. So stay tuned, folks. This is actually a very some guy I've been working with quite some time. It's first time on the channel, but you're going to see him more as time goes on, definitely. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good. Okay. Have a great evening.
I end the stream. Now it's